Hey guys, how's it going? Preparing here. So I know there's a lot of you guys that are pretty new to Path of Exile and want to check it out. Realize it's a pretty good game. I mean, there's a lot of people playing it now. I've seen the number of people playing it on Steam. I've seen the number of people watching the streams and all that. And I've played the game. It's pretty fucking good. So I want to talk to you guys about the frustrations of a new player. Now, Path of Exile is a game that's like super complicated and it's very in-depth, but that's what makes it really good. And there's a lot of people that have a lot of noob questions. There's nothing wrong with being a noob. You start a game for the first time that other people have played for a while. Relative to them, you're going to be a noob. There's no doubt about that. Now, I played Path of Exile, and I started playing Path of Exile once a lot of other people started playing. Like, after a lot of other people played it already for a while. And, I was a noob too. And I want to tell you guys, instead of, this is how this works, this is how this works, this is how this works, kind of the idea that you really should be going into new games with, especially ones as complex as Path of Exile. So what I did, and what I recommend you guys doing, is I made a character that I thought would be fun. So I made it. I made like a Iron Reflex Ranger with like no resists, and I don't think I even used Grace. And it sucked. And, it was what it was. It's basically a piece of shit. But I learned that certain parts of the game are really crap. And, my second character was a Ground Slam Marauder. Apparently that was, one of the big things going on in the game at the time. But I didn't really look towards a guide. I'm like, okay, well, you got a skill. The skill Ground Slam, and these gems work on it pretty well. How would I make a passive, skill tree with that in mind? And, I had some kind of thing planned out. And in hindsight, it was pretty crap, because I had shit like 10 armor nodes and stuff like that. I thought armor was really good. But without really trying it, it's very difficult to understand the depth of the game. So there's one side where, yeah, you can read a guide, you can copy something, and that works pretty well, because you typically learn what's good, but it's hard to really, push the game forward if you do that. So if you really want to be on the next level, you kind of have to start in a shittier spot. And that's kind of the idea that I want to bring to you guys. Even though a lot of people have played Path of Exile for so long, because there's so many new things in the game right now, and, because people are pretty much trying the same shit, it's kind of wide open to all these like crazy ideas. And they're pretty hard to realize for a lot of people that have been playing the game for a while, because their ideas are going to typically follow suit. So as a new player, although you may make some mistakes, you might get some pretty good ideas. You might get pretty lucky and actually come up with something that's really good. And that's really the gem in Path of Exile. Path of Exile allows for endless amount of possibilities, and being able to figure out what really works and kind of revolutionize what people do in the game makes it really satisfying for the player who's doing this. So for instance, when I was a new player and I was playing my Ground Slam Marauder, I figured out that I could put a frost wall and then ground slam under the frost wall, or projectiles couldn't hit me. So I was the frost wall Ground Slam Marauder, and it was so cool and all that. And I was so proud of it. The build was kind of shitty, but I tried my best. It was what it was, and it worked to some extent. So one thing is, yeah, it's a hard game. It kind of helps to know what's going on, but at the same time, if you really want to enjoy the game, if you really want to have fun, your character might suck for a while, but the satisfaction is going to be there if you really push through and go in with your own ideas. And, borrowing some might be a good thing too. Anyway, there's a lot of Path of Exile videos that I've produced in the past. If you guys are curious about this and that, about how stuff works, the forum is an excellent resource. But in the end, you really should do what you want. So I hope you guys have the courage to do that. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.